Hey, this is Jerry Visca, the publisher of Defyeneurs, and welcome to the Influence Project, one of the most inspiring issues of Defyeneurs Mag that we have ever taken on. And man, are we excited, because today we are live with Analyn Scott, together Analyn and Raymond from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Jerry. It's a pleasure being here.
Analyn, I'm very, very excited. I've been pumped about this interview. You know, you're founders of One in Nine. You're bringing this incredible global awareness to quite a crucial issue, kidney disease, and I'm very honored to have you on this call. So let's get right into it. There's a quote you share, and it goes like this: when enough people are tuned into the same frequency, they can make tremendous changes in our world. There's no doubt that you and Raymond are really making incredible awareness and global change. So share with us, how do influencers shape our world?
Oh, my goodness. I tell you, the frequency is so big because it's that energy. Have you ever been in a room and you're talking to a group of people and you start the conversation and where everyone is on the same page, and it just that energy that comes from it is, can really light up the room, truly. And then maybe someone comes in that kind of looks and says, I don't quite get what's going on, and kind of dampers things, right? And so I think influencers, when they really find their passion for something, it's something that they can't just keep to themselves. It's something that they have to share with others. And so as they do, their frequency expands and reaches others. It's kind of, like this beacon that goes out, and those that are on the same frequency can tune into that. And it's amazing and miraculous things can happen when people can collaborate within that same zone or that same frequency.
I love it. I love how you speak about frequency, Analyn, and I'll be bringing that back again in this interview. But I really love the way you talk about passion. I mean, you can just feel the passion coursing through you. And I often say, if you're not passionate about what you're being and doing, how can you expect others around you to feel that? So there's another quote you share here, and it's pretty incredible. It goes like this: 1 in 9 adults have kidney disease, and 90% don't even know it. There's definitely some need to educate here, and this is exactly what you're doing. Share with us, what is your intention, both you and Raymond, for influencing others?
On the bigger picture, our intention is, some people might, wonder if this is possible, but we believe absolutely positively with everything in our being that we can help change the trajectory of kidney disease. Again, not alone, but collectively, that's something that can happen. In our story, just personally, we've been dealing with kidney disease for nearly 19 years. In fact, this is actually February 20th, 19 years ago, that Raymond's kidneys failed due to high blood pressure. And he was one of those 90% that didn't know that he had kidney disease. He had high blood pressure. He was taking his blood pressure medication, but he wasn't checking it regularly. And so, again, 29, just a year out of the Army, felt like he was 6 foot tall and bulletproof and nothing could hurt him. This came as a real shock to us, as and we were only about 3 months into our dating relationship at the time. Wow. And so, it was quite a shock for us. And so now, here, fast forward, it hasn't been just this straight line trajectory, right? There's been twists and turns in the journey. A lot of people might think, oh, kidney disease, okay, so if you get a transplant, then that's it, right? Mm-hmm. No, not necessarily. And there's also a lot of people that might be under the impression, oh, but I don't really know anybody on dialysis, so I don't think I know anybody with kidney disease. But a lot of people don't realize that there's 5 stages of kidney disease. Stages 1 through 4, you can still reverse, you can still prevent, you can slow down the progression. Stage 5 is actually when there's kidney failure, and you either need to go on dialysis or have a kidney transplant. So, again, Raymond being part of that 90% that didn't know it, what if he would have had that knowledge ahead of time so that when he was in those earlier stages, he could have done something about it? But we can't turn around and reverse time, but what we can do we can help others to recognize earlier and do something about it.
I love that. You summarized the 5 stages actually beautifully, but I love this vision of helping change the trajectory. That's what really touches me, and it's this trajectory of kidney disease, and that's what I believe makes the two of you just extraordinary influencers. How can people listening, the thousands of people that are going to listen to this interview, how can they start to help and be a part of this vision of 1 in 9?
So first of all, I would say take care of yourself, right? Because you want to take care of your health. So take a look at some of your risk factors. See if you are 1 in 9, or maybe you can raise the awareness for someone else. And you can definitely go to our website at 1 in 9, that's 1 and then IN, the number 9, kidneychallenge.com. Follow us on Facebook. We're definitely highlighting different 1 in 9 stories. It's not just all about my husband. It's it's a very diverse disease. So I think it's really important to help with awareness. So that's our first key pillar is awareness, prevention, and regenerative medicine. The future is here now. It's not like, maybe in my child or grandchildren's lifetime. No. There are things that are happening today that will make a difference. When you hear regenerative medicine, different things might come to mind for people. A lot of people might think, well, stem cells, which, they're doing a lot of great things with stem cells, but what does that mean? Is that, there's been some negative stigma. But let me just clarify that real quick. There's some amazing things that they're doing with people's own stem cells, that they're able to. There's a Dr. Atala out of Wake Forest University, North Carolina, and he took this young man who took his stem cells from him, built him a bladder using a 3D printer, transplanted that back into him. He has had that for over 10 years, not needing any anti-rejection medications. So it's remarkable the things that are being done. Now, admittedly, kidneys, heart, liver, kidneys are much, much more complex than a bladder. And so, talk has been over the last 5 or so years that we're, probably 10 years out. I'm saying 10 years is unacceptable. We need to make that happen in 5 years or less. So how the listeners can help here is, again, get involved to, again, looking back at yourself and your own community at some of the health risks, but then also be a voice of change. There's some legislation that's in Congress, the Regrow Act, that will help push regenerative medicine through the FDA a little bit faster. There's different loopholes, but, there's different legislation that can come about here in the U.S. and other countries. It's not just, it's something that's being investigated worldwide. So I would say, just tune in, and if our frequency resonates with you to do something on a bigger scale, then feel free to reach out to us.
I love just that whole notion of tuning in. There's a quote that his name is Dr. Zane Kelpie, and he was influenced by the two of you, and he shares here, Analyn and Raymond are an example of resilience and grit. When plagued by a morbid disease, they inspire us to push regenerative medicine and organ engineering to the limits. We must use technology to find a durable and affordable solution for organ shortages. I love that. I love that you're starting to see this influence, right into the physicians themselves. So let's just stay on that a bit. What is this change? What is the ideal change that you and Raymond would love to influence in the world?
Oh my goodness, it's such a big vision.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It goes beyond kidney disease, right? I mean, we start there. But we go back to even some of the origins of it. Most people may not be aware that diabetes is the leading cause of kidney disease. High blood pressure, which is what took Raymond's kidneys, is number 2. But there's other factors. There's, lupus, some other autoimmune, obesity can be a factor. But, I see that if we can't, to make that change in kidney disease, we need to look at some of those initial causes. And some of them are genetic and, other reasons. But if we can take diabetes, for example, and if there's 44% of new cases of kidney failure attributed to diabetes, maybe we ought to shine a bigger light on that and see if we can tackle it. Because in doing so, we're, of course, tackling kidney disease as well. But we don't stop there. So like Dr. Kelpie is talking about, there is an organ shortage out there. There aren't enough to go around. And unfortunately, there are also some negative side effects to the anti-rejection medications that are available. They continue to get better, don't get me wrong, but how fabulous would it be to be able to have transplants using patient's own stem cells, for example, or some of the bioartificial organs that are being developed right now. That makes a difference, so that currently a kidney transplant lasts for about 10 to 15 years on average. So what if we could increase that time and not have the negative side effects that we're currently seeing with these medications? And let me just say, with Dr. Kelpie, I mean, he inspires us. You should see not just the spark, but the fire that when we're talking about these things, it is this energy that is unbelievable, and he helps give us hope for the future. It's frustrating for him as a cardiothoracic, heart transplant surgeon when he saves someone's life with a much needed heart transplant, only to, not in all cases, of course, but in some cases for then those anti-rejection medications to circle around and damage their kidneys, and then here they might need a kidney transplant. So getting back to your root question of how can we change the world, it starts from those everyday people. What can we do to raise their awareness and help them with their, live healthy lifestyles, try and take care of their health as best they can, but also really give hope for the future, hope of what can happen beyond kidney disease, beyond heart disease, that we can bring these solutions to bear to eliminate the organ shortages that are out there today and save millions of lives.
I love it. I just love it. I love your passion, and I love your approach to awareness building. It's this authentic way of attacking this problem in a very, very inspiring way. And just listening to you, Analyn, you've inspired me that this vision is possible. So I'm going to summarize a quote that you share here about 1 in 9, and I really think this captures the energy. We founded 1 in 9 and believe that with a progressive and collective movement, we can raise public awareness of risk factors, promote preventative practices, and influence public policy that will spark new solutions in the field of regenerative medicine. Okay, so my last question for you, I want to stay on this quote. I want you to picture 100 years out from now. 100 years from now, Analyn, this is a legacy question. What energy do you see and desire to see live on? How will your vision have impacted all of our lives 100 years out?
Oh, that is a big question. I have a vision that in 100 years from now, we will look back and say, oh, thank goodness we made a change. And it's not, it's just not us alone. It's a collective change that needs to happen, that, wow, we not only was society able to turn around kidney disease, but turn around so many other diseases. Diabetes, wow, look, that's definitely a major decline. Heart disease. To look back 100 years from now and to see the other inspirations that came from that, when people could see what was truly possible, that they never thought would be available in their lifetimes, that would challenge their beliefs, it would challenge them to push past other boundaries, whether created by society or self-imposed, to have that domino effect that other diseases are tackled, that other, ails in society that we have can be remedied. That's my vision.
I love it. Analyn, you and Raymond, the two of you remind me of why I exist, to shine a light on everyday people doing extraordinary things. I call this profile Creating Hope and Change. It's on pages 38 and 39 of the new Influence issue. Analyn and Raymond Scott, founders of 1 in 9. On behalf of Defyeneurs and everyday people doing extraordinary things, we want to thank you both for contributing your amazing influence, not only to this issue of Defyeneurs, but to the world. Thank you so much.
Oh, and Jerry, thank you so much for for shining a light on the work that we're doing, because we can't do it alone. And we are so grateful for you and Defyeneurs.